That's just that's the beginning part of it. And I think if, like I said, I'm late, but I think that's the number one problem right there, is that right there. You, not you, but a lot of people feel that we can't, speak up on our rights. We don't know our rights, but when we do, it's a problem. And just like if I get pulled over and my window is right here, it can be down that far. And as long as I can hand you my license, I don't have to put my window down.
Right.
But I've had an officer, because I'm saying this because this is what I went through. And I didn't put my window down, but it was a lot of escalating from the officer because I refused to put my window down. But when he seen that I did know my rights, he called for backup and everything. But my window never went down because he said he couldn't hear me. My window was down. Yes, you could. We're verbally talking right now, but he kept saying, "Oh, I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I need you to bring your window down." So I'm saying, just to cut out all the other stuff, that's the simple, basic problem we have here. Is what you feel that is authority to you is really our basic rights.
And I'll tell you this, I've seen videos of actually what you're talking about.
Well, I'm just saying what happened to me.
And so one of the things that we tell our officers though, and we tell the everybody, is to exercise that. It's expected. I mean, if I come up to you and you're the same scenario and you're running down the street and I ask you for your ID, and you're like, you're exercising, or you're doing whatever, and I ask you, and you say that, my answer is yes.
I know a video you just looked at. I looked at that video today too. And
I've seen a couple of those.
Yeah, I had a problem with that video because they said running, and actually it's just the words they would use. The man was jogging. And if I say running, it makes it seem as I'm in the midst of doing something.
Man, yeah, that's, but you're right.
I know what you're saying.
And all our officers know that they hear us talk, and we teach them this in the academy. And we encourage everybody to exercise.
Exactly.
It shouldn't be a surprise for our officers.
And I know our time is getting short, you guys, but I've got here, and I'm going over here.
Okay, I just want a clarification. Regina asked the question, do you have a de-escalation policy? And then she said, and is that de-escalation policy step 1, 2, 3, 4? Your answer comes back with that. Well, we do have it, but it is you call it a continuum, meaning that you can go from step 1 to step 4.
Yes.
Okay, and so what I'm hearing is that you do have a de-escalation policy, correct?
Yes.
Okay, is it 1, 2? I never get the answer. Is it 1, 2, 3 written in there? And that's what she asked, was it written?
No, it is.
1, 2, 3.
And I didn't know we was gonna talk about this, or I didn't. So you can look
I
at
just
it.
want clarification on that.
But I encourage, first of all, the answer is yes, de-escalation is in the policy. 2 is, if I can show you the continuum, it shows things kind of like where you can understand on it.
No, I understand, but you answered my question. It
I go-
doesn't have a step 1, step 2,
No,
step
it does
3,
not.
step 4. That was.
And let me
No,
say
it
this.
does not.
Let me say this.
Because,
And then she come back and said that was, should be.
so let's say this, though, I'm a police officer, and you see her
Yes.
hitting me with a baseball bat. Okay, I mean, I'm going completely extreme on you here.
Sure.
And you see me, I don't have to go through 1, 2, 3. No, I can go to the next one.
But what we're saying is, in terms of writing out, right? Because that's why we have experts, in terms of writing out what force is necessary for this situation and this situation, that could be written out. And it could be on a continuum, right? Because then we would not have, somebody got stopped for something really basic, and it ended up getting all crazy because
Do you have a copy, Mark? Do you have a copy with you? It
I-
has that on there.
but it does not have for the interaction with why you would use that particular kind of force. That's what I'm saying. We can think out all the way through, hey, a traffic stop, this is what's happening, right? These are the things that are typically gonna be happening. This one here, right? We can at least get a structure that says, I'm not gonna go from 0 to 10 because all of a sudden, I can just say, I feared for my life, and I had to shoot this guy, and he had a taillight out. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And I'm
exactly
saying,
what
how do we
that's
get
exactly
from
it.
a taillight to somebody's grave? And I'm just saying, I guarantee you, at the very onset, if we all work together in terms of how are we working through these things? How are we policing? How are the citizens being as citizens, right? If we work out this thing here, we got a better way of saying, hey, let's do it, because everybody's not gonna be that bad guy. Everybody, most folks are not, quite frankly. And I wanted to ask in terms of, you know, you talked about, and the reason this has to do with traffic stops, I promise you, when you said you didn't know you were gonna talk about this, it's on the traffic stops that the things are getting escalated.
Right.
And I'm asking, what should
No,
happen on the traffic stops?
I didn't know if you, I would have brought the
Oh.
policy with me.
Okay,
That's what I
okay,
said.
all right,
I
and like
would
I
have
said,
brought it, here's the policy.
we have ongoing talks, like I said, we've been talking about this for a while, but also we're gonna be hopefully having practices that are very aware in your, when you talk about your use of force, right? We wanted to, have a report done in terms of compiling all of the incidents, right? When that's been discussed, has that been done? Have we gotten to the place where we've looked at an annual report where we can see, looking at our use of force incidents? What was happening during those incidents? What was the race involved, the gender involved? What actually took place? As we look at how are we progressing in Tulsa, have we gotten there yet? In terms of having that document, that completed report, annual report.
That's the
shows
purpose
us
of
our
having
progress.
this comprehensive study, multi-year
Okay.
comprehensive study. I can talk right now because I've been looking at 2017 because that's the most recent data that I have. And that's what we're talking about, of those 274. Then I start looking at who we're using force on, why we're using force, and then categorizing that so we can have a better understanding of that.
And if you could include in that, the person, the officer, so that there's statistics as to.
We got it.
What,
Yes.
what officer is the.
Yes.
I got a question. Daryl, go ahead. Go ahead.
We'll be here 20 years from now talking about the same thing.
Well, I said, well, when we started, I said, Daryl, we're not gonna get this figured out today. It's an ongoing conversation.
I understand that, and we appreciate what's said because we have to stop it now in practice the best we can. But at the same time, we can walk and chew bubblegum at the same time. Because as I looked at some of these oversight meetings, every time someone would give a scenario, guys would codify it. They'd have books stacked up like this. We did this in training, that in training, and suddenly there's a gap between what you know and how you act and the guy on the street. That's what's killing us. That's what's killing us. And they cannot walk around here with a law library of codes. Because sometimes it's gotta be right here.
Yeah,
And what you feel about people.
yeah.
Because we've got a council that hadn't defined a vision for Tulsa.
Yeah.
And they worked for the Tulsa, and we saw for Tulsa, the council and the mayor, and we saw how the mayor acted out here at Town Square.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, in the final analysis, what vision of people do you see law enforcement? Because I don't see the chief of police saying this, and he's the moral authority, along with the mayor. So the issue that we have here is that we're talking about different views of people and how we relate to people
Right.
and how do we do law enforcement in this day and age. And it's not just a question of best practices, it's the best fit for Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well-
Because
Public state.
because, yes, and this is the reason what I'm saying, if we do not get to that level, we must strive to get to the level that the police, the city council, all right, and all of us are on the same page and acting that out and living that out, codified too, because some of those best practices on escalation may not necessarily be the best fit for Tulsa, Oklahoma, or where your heart is. Who is generating that escalation, de-escalation? What I'm saying, we have not heard from the police department, not one iota. I'm sorry, we have not been doing well, and we're gonna change this based upon people.
But how do we do that? You have to know what that guy in the street is doing.
Yeah.
Because if you can't
Yeah, one
evaluate
more
that.
question, Daryl, and I hear you.
Well, if we can't do that, and your culture is enabling that, which it is, and you don't have the kind of structure to begin to understand what's happening in the street, and don't hire a guy or a woman who has that kind of mentality, because it doesn't matter what. If they come in with it, they'll pick up the same baggage under fire, and your culture is enabling that.
And let me say this, I see you, I'm coming back there.